Mm. Good morning. I've been up at this hour to do a conscious coffee for quite some time. So it really is legitimately conscious coffee, almost like it's back to when I originally started this. And I just got my first sip of coffee. So I was sitting here and I was just having a little chat with God saying, what am I talking about this morning? I'm on here because I have some people dropping by the house later today. So, no, later today, meaning like 8 o'clock this morning, drop by and stuff. So I just know that as soon as the 8 o'clock hour rolls around, I'm probably not going to be able to get on here again. So I decided I'm going to just do this right now, old school it, the way I used to, how conscious coffee got started, which was the 6:30 a.m. mark for my time zone. So hey, morning Mike, morning Vanessa, hey morning Addison. So yeah, so I decided that I was going to just jump on because of just the way my day is going to end up going. And it's interesting. I woke up without my alarm this morning. And then my alarm went off directly after it. I just woke up feeling like, sometimes I believe that life is extremely fair. I believe that life is fair because what we focus on grows. And I've seen that over and over again. And if we're focusing on the positive things that we want, then that stuff comes in. If we're focusing on the negative things that we want, then that stuff comes in. And if we focus on fear, if we focus on fear, it brings about so many more things of pain, of suffering, of bondage. And one of the things that I hear a lot from people, and I myself have definitely experienced this, and been through it from the side of the, oh my God, I just got replaced feeling, is that fear of being replaced. That fear that I'm replaceable, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not good enough. So and so wants to be with this person, that person. My job, I always miss the promotion. They just overlook me, and it always goes to somebody else. That jealousy, that fear, it rises up as jealousy because it shows its evil little ideas and egoic ways when we're dating somebody or in our intimate relationships, when we're out and about and our partner checks out somebody of the opposite sex, and and we go, oh, I get upset. Why are you looking at her? Why are you looking at him? That's a fear. I mean, in those jealousy statements, you're making me jealous. That statement is, I'm fearing that I am going to get replaced. I'm fearing that I'm not good enough for you to want to keep me. We see it with our kids. I mean, anybody who has children, that there's like this, like if you have more than one, then there's going to be these little jealousy wars that happen between kids. I mean, my two youngest, who's 4 and 6, my 4-year-old, he is such a mama's boy. And when he's sitting by me, he snuggles in and he's just like, my mom, no, go away. And he won't let anybody, except for occasionally his brother, his 6-year-old brother. I'll be like, okay, Gabe can sit with you. Gabe can love on you. You can hug Gabe. But he fears other people getting too close to his mom. He fears, giving up that space, that time. And you can see it in his eyes that, he's scared that I'm going to push him away or that something's going to happen there. There's this jealousy. There's jealousy of, you have more than I have. Yesterday I was just taking a hit here on Facebook. I mean, I took the stuff that came up and definitely made something positive out of it, but I was taking this hit from this, I'll call him a gentleman just to be polite, but he wasn't being very gentlemanly. And he was calling me a prostitute, and he was calling me, that he said that I was stealing and that I was a prostitute. I've never met the man before. He's never done anything with me, and I'm not a prostitute. I am a coach, and I teach talk therapy. So I went through exactly what I do with this man, because out of the blue, he just decides to start calling me these names and making these assumptions, and so bold and so crude his words were. And this morning I woke up and I was just like, we do this in morning, Brianna, Tanja. We do this with so many things. That fear of being replaced, that fear of, life not going to be as good to me as it is to fill in the blank. It makes us reactive in this way of trying to get what we want, which is connection, which is love, which is attention. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be felt. We want to be taken seriously. We want compassion, right? We want these things, and we want those. But when we fear not having them, when we fear that what we have is going to be ripped away from us in some fashion or form, even though it could just be a complete illusion, because that's what it is. 90% of the time, it's an illusion that we think. And you know what happens? We fear it, and then we put passion in it. We put this passion in our jealousy. We put this passion in our fear. We put this passion in the, oh my God, I'm going to be replaced. And then it happens. Of course it happens, because we put all of our passion in it, right? And we've really, really focused in on it. We have given our heart and soul to the mission of proving to ourselves that we are replaceable, of proving to ourselves that we're not lovable, of proving to ourselves that we're not worthy, of proving to ourselves that, once again, we will be passed by. Once again, we will be dropped. We will be put to the side. We will be put on the back burner. We will be thrown away like trash. And it's the focus. It's the fear. And sometimes that fear that we focus in on that, we don't even really realize that we're doing it. It's more like, if I was going to describe it, because I have had recent situations, like in the last few years, where this has risen up for me very personally. And morning, Steve, morning, John, very, very personally. And I know that I wasn't focusing in, like running around and having these thoughts of I'm replaceable, or I'm this, or I'm that. Not constantly. But there was this piece, and I would say that it comes like right here, right underneath the breastbone, right underneath the rib cage, right there. And there's like this weighty, there's this heaviness, there's this, you just feel yourself grasping deep inside yourself. You're just grasping. And that's what it feels like. It's like there's just this grasping there. And that's that holding spot of those emotions. And so we put on our faces and we smile and we connect and we go on about our day. But there's this feeling. And that feeling is low subconscious level. Our body trying to trigger us, trying to alert us to, hey, you got some negative charged vibes rolling. You got some negative thoughts happening. You're fearing boom, boom, boom. And those subconscious thoughts, that's the problem, is that we tend to, you go through your day and you're sitting there, you're sitting at a stoplight, you're in the middle of a grocery store buying cereal or apples or something, and all of a sudden this random thought pops into your head and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Why am I all of a sudden, it just sets you off, and all of a sudden you're on alert status because you feel like you're replaceable again, even though nothing's changed. But the majority of us don't really catch those moments when we feel that. We're not conscious to it. We just get thrown off kilter, and all of a sudden something's not right. And then we go on this alert status, and we start looking for what's wrong. Why are we feeling this way? What's wrong? And what we don't realize is that it came from this feeling right here, where it's just been slowly trickling out this poison into our system, and it's happened consistently here and here and here and here. You got a problem with jealousy, if you got a problem with looking out and fearful that you're going to be replaced in some fashion with your work, with your lover, if you're in a sibling argument, if you're in, an argument with your parents or something, you got friendship trouble going on. Oh my goodness. Like, it stems in so many different areas where we look out and we just go, I'm not good enough. And the problem is that we truly believe we have a worthiness epidemic in our world. And that lack of worthiness really truly makes us believe that we're non-deserving of the good things in our life. We're non-deserving of having or being. And when that happens, here's the real sick issue. The real sick issue after I sip coffee. Morning, Deanna. Morning, Julia. The real sick issue is that when we get into that state, once it has permeated into our system to such a deep level, and we've really got it in there and it's ingrained, it just becomes us. And we're just a jealous person. We're just, a person that just doesn't have the luck. It's just like, that's just the way it is. And we've really accepted that we're the one who's always going to get thrown away, that we're the one who's the piece of trash, that we're the one who's going to get bypassed, that we're, that people always cheat on us. When we really truly start buying that bullshit, then there's pieces where, number one, we just lay down. We really just are like, well, that's just going to happen on the front side, right? That's just going to happen. So we just go, that's just it. That's our reality now. So of course it's going to happen because we're really believing it now. So now we're setting out these charges and these reactions and emotions, and our way we connect is all coming from this belief that we've created. It's now ingrained. And for some, it taints us. It taints us in a completely different way. It taints us in the way that I don't want you to be happy. I don't want you to experience joy, because that hurts me so much, because I actually believe that I am so less of worth. I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of happiness. I'm not worthy of freedoms. I'm not worthy of feeling good. I'm not worthy of connecting. I'm not worthy of time spent on me. I'm not worthy of money spent on me. I'm not worthy of, fill in your own blank. There's so much of this, and what ends up happening in these situations when we get tainted like that is that we then turn around and we almost want to see others in pain. We want to see others in pain because guess what? Misery wants company. And when we are that miserable and that separated from our truth, from who we are, then we start doing things that are really vindictive, are manipulative, are, just, and all these different, I could come up with 1,000,001 words, but I don't have enough coffee in my system yet. I'll put some more in there. We come up with all this, and we really want it so bad, and we don't even realize it. I mean, like, we're so unconscious in that moment of the pain that we're desiring for somebody else. But when we get so upset that, our ex-husband, our ex-wife, our parent, our sister, our brother, our friend, our colleague, our, that guy that we dated, that woman that we dated, all this stuff. We could even be our children sometimes, like manipulation and wanting suffering, companies, buddies, you could say, and our suffering does not slow down for any relationship. Doesn't. We kind of like bask in like, oh yeah, you're going through the financial problems too. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, I am too. Oh, let's be buddies. Oh, I'm so sorry that happened. Oh yeah, that happened to me too just recently. You're going to notice, oh, did you end up breaking up with them, that person too? That's really sad that's really that habit in your life. Oh, yeah, man, guys are blah, 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 blah. total bitch fest going on. But you're almost excited about it. Like, oh, my girlfriend, my daughter, my sister, my, my brother, my friend, my buddy, the guys at work, they're going through. Whoever these people are, they're going through too. Because it makes it where, when you see it coming in around you in your circles, when we see this, what it does is it goes, there's not anything wrong with me anyway. Like, I'm not the only one going through this. I felt so lonely before, but now I have company. We get excited about that. And the real crazy thing about this is that in those intimate relationships, and intimate meaning close, in this case, not sexual, in relationships that we can tweak and play with, that we can impact in different ways, sometimes we'll actually do things that will cause the other person to suffer. It's like we're like, well, let me just help you get on, let me buy you a ticket to the suffer boat over here, and let me just, here you go, here's your ticket, let me implement this for you. Let me stir up some crap in your life. I'll pretend that I don't know what's going on. I'll act like it wasn't me. I'll figure out a way to make it somebody else's gig and come out over here, and be able to go, here I am, let me hold space for you. And do all of that stuff. But somewhere, sometimes all too often in relationship, when somebody is suffering, they're also playing with somebody else's pot of soup, we could say, playing with it, and let me add in some ingredients over here, because I want your pot to be more like my pot, so that I don't feel alone, so that I don't feel lost, because I'm being thrown away, I'm being left behind, I'm being replaced. Or so that is the fear. But often it is not the case, right? It's just the fear. Somebody just comment on a video, but I don't know if it's this video or some other video. I just realized that I didn't turn my buzzer off on my phone. Oops. This morning, I bring that message because as I woke up this morning, I just had this, like epiphany kind of hit me this morning, and some conversations that I had yesterday with different people, and then events that have taken place in the last 24 hours, and just kind of like what's coming to me, right? And that's always what my articles are on, and that's always what my coach's coffees are on, is like either where I'm at emotionally or what's coming to me with people in my life or clients or different things, or sometimes it just is like this feeling that just pours through me, and I just know like, I have to say it. And then it's funny because, I'll do my stuff and then I get on here and then I'll read my mentor stuff or something, or I'll check different things out and I'll be like, man, was I ever in the spiritual alignment of today on topic or something? And even though I don't feel jealous about anything, I'm not worried about being thrown away, I'm not, having any of these fears or illusions in my current situation, my current life picture. Like, my current life picture is really amazing outside of the fact that my yard needs mowed, but that's just because we've had crazy weather. But that's like the big problem. That's the big challenge of my life right this very second, is that one of the kids needs to come out here and mow the yard. My son's not going to be happy because I just realized that he probably needs to come out here and mow the yard today or tomorrow. So that's a challenge. Are there other challenges? Of course. But there's not a suffering going on. There's not a fear of being replaced. There's not these illusions of, of crap where, I mean, yeah, we all consistently throughout life have to fight with this thing called worthiness, this thing called self-love, because we wobble in it, we ebb and we flow, and sometimes we feel really strong in it, and we feel really, very centered and in love with ourselves, in love with our life, and worthy of what's going on. And other times we allow these background thoughts to overthrow us and get us not feeling quite right. Well, right now, I'm feeling pretty dang good about my world. I've got some amazing clients. My kids are all doing really good. I've got a list and a half of things that I am very, very happy with in my life, from my close relationships and intimate relationships to just everything that's going on with my business and everything. And feeling healthy and strong. And yeah, there's little pieces. But I share that because, number one, people like to kind of like try to fix me on Conscious Coffee, not realizing I'm sharing from a place of soul connection, alignment, heart and soul, and trying to assist and share the lessons that I've learned and viewpoints on things on here. I'm not jealous over anything. I don't have anything going on. So I just want to clarify that with you guys. And hopefully whoever listens to this, they won't send me some, self-help advice on the jealousy stuff I don't have going on. But I do have it in my life affecting other people. I have it in my life affecting other people. And it started yesterday in this little way. I was actually working on my article yesterday where I was talking about boundaries and how we really have these very porous boundaries with ourselves, and meaning that we aren't good at sticking, in general, and I worded it in the you fashion, like I'm talking to somebody, but that's the way I write a lot. Sometimes I write that way. Meaningless, it's just going out. So I was talking about, like, the most important thing is to really be committed to ourselves and to then stay consistent to the actions that we know we need to do to benefit our life in whatever fashion. So that whether that is love, or it's our business, or it's our health, or it's, making a better family life, whatever it is, doesn't matter. It all comes down to commitment and consistency. And that in general, we have a really tough time holding boundaries around that. And that is an issue of mine, because I have 7 children, and I let my children kind of come in, and they will take up my energy, my time, my space. They'll come and, it's every single day I see every one of my kids. And 3 of them live outside the house, but it's like every single day they will just pop in random times and be like, hey, Mom. And sometimes they're just swinging by just to give me a hug. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And yesterday, here I am. I'm trying to do, because when Addison and I were in Punta Cana last week, I had the assignment of doing a money meditation for monetizing Badass Bosses, the workshop that we did while we were in there. And I had not gotten to it because of the just stuff going on. I was like, it's the final piece to this course, and it needs to be in there. So I sat down yesterday. I was in this beautiful space. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing here, so I just need to spend about 15 minutes and just record this, right? So I sat down and I get everything lined up, and I push the record button, and I get maybe 45 seconds into it when somebody pops in from the garage, and I look around the corner, and here comes my grandson, who's 5 years old, who has been away for a couple weeks, and he sent me a video the other day where he's, saying, I miss you so much, and I love you, and all this different stuff. Well, he was walking in the door, and of course, I can't record a 15-minute meditation, right? So I hit stop, and I felt myself go, because prior to that, my kids that are in the house, my 16-year-old, her and her friend were here talking and asking me questions. And then, my 13-year-old son had to come down and show me different stuff. And I love all that stuff. So he comes in, we chit chat, give love. And my daughter, she's just like, hey, Mom, blah, blah, blah. We connect, and she leaves. And I come back and I sit down at the table, and I'm like, okay, raise that little 30, 45 second thing, get everything lined up again, get myself into space again, hit the play button, and my 19-year-old son comes in. And I looked at him and I said, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be at work. He's like, I'm still not feeling good. He was sick the day before. And I was like, okay, I understand that, because I wasn't feeling that great either. So I was like, okay, but I'm going to get this done. And he's just like, so he's in jibber jabbering and he's looking for a dentist and all this different stuff. So I'm trying to help him, and I'm like, okay, we can't do that. So you see, it just happened. And that's my weaker boundaries in those moments around my children, and still leaning in and like, no, okay, I'll be mom, I'll be mom, I'll be mom, in the face of trying to get something done that I really need to get done. Now I did get that done. Not a big, so that wasn't a big deal. But sometimes my days can go like that. And yesterday, that's what was happening. I write this article around boundaries, and in the midst of me writing this article around boundaries, my 16-year-old daughter's bestie, she spent the night before, and she's down here, and she's complaining to me about guy problems. And she's just going on and on and on. So I was giving her advice about, my blunt advice to her was, you guys are 16, 17 years old. Do you see yourself with this boy when you're 85? Are you waking up next to this boy when you're 85? And she's like, no. I'm like, so don't get yourself so caught up on this stuff that you realize that you're teenagers, and that this relationship, that relationships, and this was what I told her. I said, every relationship is replaceable. A lot of the times people come into our life and they will fade out of our life for different reasons. And when we are teenagers, when we are young, and especially in the love world, people serve purposes for each other. We come in, we heal each other, we expand each other, we experience these beautiful love connections. Sometimes we bring in suffering and teach each other about boundaries, about non-negotiables, about our authentic yeses and our authentic nos. And we have to move through that and all this kind of stuff. And she's like, yeah, but she was just she was having an issue around jealousy. This guy that she likes, that she's not really dating, but they are sort of dating, but they're not dating. And she, like, they're talking, but they're talking, I guess. I was like, what's talking mean? And she's trying to explain all this to me. And it's like, okay, it doesn't much matter. You're into him. And she's like, well, if I don't get into a relationship with him, then when he cheats on me, and this is what she said, if I don't get into a relationship with him, then when he cheats on me, he won't really be cheating on me, and I won't get hurt. And I'm like, why are you even thinking that right now? And she's like, because every guy that I've ever dated always cheats on me. That's just the way it is. And so we had a little teenager version of some of the coaching stuff that I work with grown-ass people in my office on. And we were talking about, around that, and I was trying to just clear out that energy. Like, you are complete without this kid, and this relationship will pass, and so he looks at this girl or that girl. And I was explaining to her that when she's really focusing in with that energy of he's going to cheat on me, that she's sending out this energy of cheat on me to him, and even if he's totally into her fear of him doing that is going to cause him to react in some way, because he's going to be like, wow, this chick over here, she's really pretty, she's really cool, but I don't know, there's something about her that's just making me not quite right. Like, I feel blah, blah, blah. He's going to feel different things. We're just going to get a reaction out of him. And next thing you know, what she fears the most will occur because of her fear of it to begin with, which will cause her to be more emotional, her to be more clingy, her to be more demanding, more controlling, or all this different stuff, making assumptions on things and everything. And so there was the jealousy conversation that came up, and then I moved throughout the day, and then I just had this like moment this morning at waking. There was other things, like then I had the guy on here who was calling me a prostitute and saying all these different things, and he doesn't even know me, he doesn't know my practice. Obviously he doesn't read my stuff or listen to Conscious Coffee. That was very obvious, because he was making some serious ass assumptions. It's kind of funny to watch him kind of spout out his stupidity there, but it was also irritating, and I can't believe I allowed him to get me caught up in that. But here, what is that? That is just a statement of, you must be doing that because this is how I'm perceiving you. I got all this stuff going on inside myself. When I see you, I'm thinking sexual thoughts. So that must be that you are putting yourself out there in a sexual fact. I mean, I could be in a freaking tunic, and this man would have thought of me as trying to flaunt myself to him. And it was just, like those inside thoughts, those inside fears, those inside things that we are not okay with, how that changes us in so many different ways. And it puts us into these situations where we speak things that we know are not true. We speak things that feel nasty. We do these actions that feel nasty, that aren't making us happy, but they kind of make us feel like I'm controlling it. I'm in power. Really not. We're in bondage in those moments. So I went through that with him, and there was I was feeling his jealousy or pissed offness that I was happy, that I was turned on, and using the words that I could speak my truth and be comfortable in my own skin, to do it daily and to live life the way I do. And he's over there just right? And and that I have beautiful relationships, and that, that I have a business that I love, and I work with people that I love, and that I just I'm in love with my life. And I could just feel his disgust at my love for my life and his pain around his lack of love for his. And so he wanted to put my light out. It didn't work. And like the class that Addison and I taught in Punta Cana, it's called Monetizing Badass Bosses. And we talked about how you take things in your daily life and you monetize it. So it's a business workshop. And we were talking about how you take things and you just take it and you monetize it. So what I did with that little piece yesterday was I ended up marketing my next workshop from it, which is Unstoppable Power. It's My Time to Fly, which is all about embracing your power, right? And being a woman who's embracing her power and all this different stuff. So I took my from him that was just why is he doing this? And I processed it through the day, and then I put out, there's just here on my wall, this that I believe that you're unstoppable and everything. And it really was my heartfelt share around when somebody wants to put your light out, when somebody has that and they just want to put your light out in it. And my disgust there, but then my revelation around it, and how important it is for us to believe in our worthiness and our love, and to never ever let somebody else come in and tell us differently that we can't have, that we're not this, that we're not that. When you're feeling great about yourself, the brighter your light is, people get pissed off at people who have their light on. And it's so funny because you love somebody that's turned on, you love somebody that's that's ignited and speaking truth and everything. There's a magnetism to it. But the people who are living that much in their darkness and that much in their pain, they have real trouble around it, because it brings up so much negative charge of them actually. Your light will shine so much on them that it points out all of the areas that they're not doing their work, that they're not comfortable with their skin, that they're not happy in their lives, that they're not being all that they could be. And then they want to go, turn off that light because I don't want to see my truth. That scares me, because if you shine that light on me, and I see my truth, well, now I have to deal with it. And I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to do it because I've spent the last 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever freaking years living like this. And this is my norm, and this is it. And they have, their ego is so much in control of them. And they have this desire to just maintain it. They cannot handle somebody's light. And that kind of stuff can happen in a relationship. I really truly believe that was the reason for my breakup last year. But actually, I believe that it was the reason for it because I was in an open relationship and I had these two, and I still hold. They were two amazing souls in my life, and both of them within a year time frame did things so out of character, and I couldn't understand why. Because in both cases, I was at a high point. And in one relationship, we were so intimate and so in love and so connected, and we were having all this intimacy and vulnerability shares and just this beautiful, deep connection. And within this quick of a second, you could say, it was gone. And he acted so out of character, and he ran, and my heart was crushed. And it has taken me 2 years to release that to a level that I can just go, okay, that was a beautiful relationship, and just own the beauty of it and let go of the crap of it. But it was just amazing to me that, and here I remember because we had gone to Laguna Beach right before everything blew up. We went to Laguna Beach, and that was probably one of our most intimate, beautiful, romantic, deep, feeling in so many ways trip together. And we traveled a lot together and did so many things for 7 years. And it was like, you just didn't see that one coming. And he went out of character, and literally 6 months later was married to somebody that he had just met, and had like a really quick, a quick little thing happened there, and met somebody and got married, and I'm sure that he has never told her about his 7 year relationship with me. I am just that thing in the past. Like, how can you not? I'm sure that he doesn't want to share light on that, because we had a pretty fucking dynamic relationship. One of those like once in a lifetime gigs. And then in the same, there was a relationship, where, so I'm running parallel relationships, and they were my two guys, and they knew about each other, and it's an open relationship, like polyamorous open relationship. And with my other guy, we have two kids together. We're raising family together. We're building businesses together. We're doing all this different stuff. And we have just like this really even keel, no fighting, no nothing. We both think similar things. Were there things about each other that we didn't like? Of course, we're in a relationship. You don't want like every aspect of the people that you're in relationship with, no matter what that relationship is, right? But also we were opposites. Like, I'm that going out person and connective and just more of that bubbly energy, and he was more that homebody energy. But we never had any, like over the course of our 7 year relationship, we had maybe what I would say 3, maybe 4 fights in total, where everything else we could just kind of work through. And then once again, we are at this height where we're like, since this relationship blew up, I just told him, I said, I really just want to focus in on us. I don't want to have an open relationship for a while. I need healing time here from this release. I want to just have us, and I really want to focus in on us. And I really applied a lot of energy and focus and connection and love, and trying to, like going through stuff. And my business just went, it became so, it exploded financially. And I had all these clients in, and just beautiful clients, and workshops were doing good, and all this different stuff was going on. And so I was at this high, right? I was like, I'm going to make, like, my business is transforming into exactly what I wanted, and I could see where it was going, and it was just amazing. And it really has, and over the course of the last year since that breakup, it has definitely done some amazing stuff. So I was sharing with him on that, and that relationship blew up within about 90 minutes. It blew up within about 90 minutes. And here's the thing. It went from, like us turned on and excited and talking and sharing and all this kind of stuff, to 90 minutes later, him basically putting me in the hospital. And of course the relationship was over because I moved out in that moment. But looking back now, a year, 2 years, what I actually see occurred was that I, in both of those moments, when I lost, when I was thrown away, because that's the emotion that was coming up, what happened there was that there was a jealousy from the other side. There's a jealousy from the other side, and I can't handle your light from the other side. I can't handle you being you. I can't handle you just expanding out. Now, I can take this in a couple different ways, and I share these tales with you guys because I know that, and I see some of your names on here. I know that some of you go through similar events, and you can take this as the program of, I always get thrown away. I always get left. Why do I attract this kind of person in that, changes their mind so quickly? Their emotions on a dime. You can believe that that's just your pattern, and that you'll never be able to have that kind of love, that kind of connection, that kind of relationship again. And you can go on the point of stance and fear of where this, like, I'm now going to be on guard. And I've been doing that the last year. I've been guarded horribly. The last 2 years, I have been guarded in different ways. And it has been that process of moving through. But I've been doing a massive amount of release work around it. So I could take it as that. I could be like, that's just what happens. Like, that's just what happens in my intimate life, is that men always run away. Men always run away. And I could go back and I could find this pattern back there, because I could take it all the way back to my high school boyfriend who just vanished one day after we had a great connection, and we were together for 2 years. And and that's where my whole tantric experience got started, and we were learning all these things, and I was so heart-centered connected to him and everything like that. And I could say, yeah, it started right there. I could take it back to my daddy, and I could say, my dad didn't, when my mom and my dad broke up, he just, and I could blame my father. I could blame that situation. I could blame my high school boyfriend. I could say, this is the pattern. This is what I see. This is what always happens. Or I could realize that in each one of those situations, the other person became weak in their light. The other person was uncomfortable and had shame and had guilt and was upset with the way their life was going. And in each case, consciously or unconsciously, reacted in a way that could temporarily or permanently try to put my light out, try to shrink me, try to do these things. Or I could just see it like that, and see it. Hey, that's what's happening. And what is that? That is saying, should you say, well, then you shouldn't grow your light. You shouldn't be who you are because you lose when you are who you are? Or do you come back to the realization that like I was telling my daughter's bestie, every relationship is replaceable. Every relationship serves its term. It serves its season. It has its reason. It has its lesson. And you get from it the lessons, and you allow yourself to open up and call in more, a better relationship, different relationships, connections, different forms of love, different ways of experiencing love, different ways of feeling connected, and different partners in any subject of your life. And you let those people expand and grow you, and you expand and grow them. Now, I know that currently my intimate relationship that we both have, emotional healing that is going on, and that is what has magnetized us. And that's what happens, is our wounds will magnetize us to each other. And I could sit around and I could go, yeah, well, when our wounds are healed, then what? Because we might fall apart. Something could happen. We could have this experience that I've had here. Or I could just really get from the relationship the beauty of the right now, the connection of the right now, the love of right now, and appreciate that and let our souls decide. Because we could grow together, or we could grow separately, which could cause different things to happen. Or we could completely grow apart and go. Sitting around and fearing what that scenario is keeping ourselves, it's lowering our light. It's keeping us into a darker space. It's making us where we are focusing in on the not having, and then we create that not having. So yeah, my last little tale there is that then, of course, I wake up this morning, and how did I even get to jealousy on this morning? I get to jealousy because of all of that. Pull it all together. All of that, the little revelations, the little ideas, the little statements that have been made, the things that, have come in. Working with a beautiful client yesterday, and he sat in front of me and he told me how growing up that he always thought that he wasn't worthy, and that he's struggling with his little boy about his worth and about his value and about self-love and forgiveness, all this stuff. And prior to that, I had a beautiful couple client come in, and one believes, that they are worthy, and the other insists on being the doormat for every relationship in their life. And they have this lack of worth and all this kind of stuff, and that people always demand of them, and that they always have to do this to get their attention and the love, and that it's a demand on them, which is not a demand on them. That's just not having healthy boundaries. That's just not embracing the self-worth that you have. That's not being a yes and self-love to self, to hold those boundaries, to commit to the boundaries, and to actually speak the truth, right? And I wake up this morning and I was like, I look around and there's all these little things, and I see people in my life going through different things, and there's different events taking place. I'm like, wow, that's a jealousy issue. Wow, I don't like your light issue. It hurts me over here. So I'm going to put you out. I'm going to cause you pain. I'm going to do something to come and just mess up your world, to cause you a little bit of stress, to cause that, not that it's conscious, but that unconscious ego that will come in, seep in, and actually kind of, and I'm going to use this because it's such a popular term, but it's very accurate here. It's the narcissistic aspect that we all have, that we believe our own bullshit. And that's a narcissistic pattern. When we believe our own lies, our own illusions, and then we make them into reality. That is narcissistic. When we put that on somebody else and we fuck up their world from it, or we attempt to, even though it is unconscious, but we're doing it because we are right here, because our illusion is accurate, then that is narcissistic. And we all do that in little ways, because no, not one of us is 100% conscious enough to catch that kind of behavior every single time. But every single time that you do catch it, you expand yourself, you grow yourself, you become stronger, you build that muscle, and you do it less and less and less. And then when people come to you and they try to do that crap back to you, you see it, and you quickly realize that that's their issue, that's their pain, that's their wound, that's their anger, that's their sadness, that's their lack of worth, because that's what it all comes back to. That's their lack of worth. And you go, you know what? All I can do is set a good example, because that's their business and that's God's business, and it isn't mine. And what I'm in charge of is my business. So there you go, guys. That's my grand talk. I'm going to have to go and cook breakfast, write an article, and get my stuff put together before the time goes bing, bing, and I have guests arriving. So on that note, you're going to see in the comment section my Unstoppable Power. It's my time to fly 12-week intensive course. It is for you ladies, okay? This is a very ladies-oriented course. The first section of it, what we're going to be talking about, is we're going to be talking about some of this stuff right here. Self-love, self-worth, self-value, boundaries, shame, guilt, releasing all that crap, forgiveness work. We're going to get in there because it's so important. If you really want to tap into that unstoppable power that you have, it's so freaking important to get that foundational work done. You've got to lay a healthy foundation for yourself. You've got to build a healthy foundation for yourself and do the work, commit to it, stay consistent to it, so that you really can fly. Because if your wings aren't strong enough, then they're not going to carry you. You may have them, but if they're not strong enough, you're crashing into something and it's going to hurt really, really bad, and there's no reason for it. So the first 4 weeks of the program, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go through structure of actually moving through different areas where we can actually really tap in and build that foundation and do the release work that we need as women. And then we're going to move into designing that designer life stuff. So then we're going to get into mindset of designing the life and the creation work and the, you know, how certain things line up. And I'm going to, this is all structure. So there's 12 different modules. Every single week has its topic on the link. If you click on it, you can see what each topic is for each week. It builds on itself. It's going to be freaking amazing. The third section of this, after we get done, we're focusing in on foundation stuff and self-help, love and forgiveness and worth and everything. And we get into that manifesting and the creating of your life and the visualization of your life and the really making it happen. And then the third area is where we pull in some key pieces, elements, you could say, that impact our life in different ways. And that is, guess what? It is all focused in on money, sex, and men. Because ladies, those three areas, like we live in a world where we're a lot of single mamas out here. We're a lot of women that are powerhouses that don't want to be controlled by corporate, or maybe we want to really climb that corporate ladder and we really want to just be powerful in that. We want to be able to be strong in our finances so that we are not basically selling ourselves off to the highest bidder, the guy with the best bank account, right? We want to buy into a man and we want him to buy into us for love, not for somebody's pocketbook. So that means that we want to have that financially strong, stable place and the freedom that comes from it. All right, so we're going to talk on that. We're going to talk on some money principles. We're going to talk on manifesting more stuff. We're going to get in there and like really make some stuff happen. And then we're going to look at our sex, because it's not just about the sex. It's more about being turned on and using our sexual energy as a creative energy, as a turn on energy to help connect us and help expand us and get us into the zone of just being there, like being there. And then we're going to move into, of course, men. Of course, we're just kind of pulling it all together, but men and that energy so that of like, if you are single, how do you call in a man? You know, like you got a man and you want to keep that man. You don't want to be on this, I'm on the the toss off list, right? What are some of the things to work on to help yourself expand, call in the right relationship for right now, for where you are, the dynamic relationship with a man that you might want, or a partner that you want, because it's for everybody who is not into guys out there, because I know I have plenty of ladies like that too. Don't care which way you tip, but if you want to call in that right lever, there's certain ways of looking at things. So you definitely have to look at it from the eyes of there's plenty of fish in the sea. So that's what that's about. Link is in the comment section. Their registration is still open. Spots are still available. It is a limited spot class because I am also offering up one-on-one coaching for this. That one-on-one coaching will be done here on Facebook Live, on the chat, or on the phone. So it is available to anybody in the world. Your location, my location, does not matter. So, and that is a really killer 12 weeks. Go explore it if you're a lady who is wanting to become unstoppable. So yeah, I think that's it. I feel pretty complete. I hope you're complete. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope that this was beneficial for you. If it was, please hit the share button, share it. Thank you for your likes, your loves, your comments, and for being on here. And for everybody that I didn't get an opportunity to say good morning to, good morning. And as always, stop existing, start living. You can follow me at www.kendalwilliams.com. Remember, you are unstoppable and worthy. Love you guys. Catch you tomorrow.